1010 energizes me in the way of getting together a community of people. Everyone in the room is a teacher, everyone's a student, and we all teach each other about language, what language can do, how to use our individual and collective imaginations to move everybody along as writers and thinkers and readers, and more frequently people who actually act on the thoughts that they have. So I've actually got some interesting service project things that have evolved because we decided to incorporate action into the classes. The topics classes give me a chance to keep whatever I'm thinking about on an ongoing basis alive. And so I've taught a series of classes about grace and landscape and compassion and chaos and whatever I happen to be thinking about at the moment. It's the only thing in my life I do that I wouldn't mind paying for the privilege of doing. What motivates me is, I think I'm, by definition, a student, and so teaching is an odd guise for being a student. It's a little mask. I go in to learn every day what I'm going to learn, and I consider either the text we're working with, the text and all of us in the class are learners and teachers, and I really enjoy the surprises that come from testing those assumptions out. There are two living writers who have moved me along much farther in my personal evolution than I thought I would go. They are Annie Dillard, who's been in my bookshelf since 1983, and in my classes since I started teaching, and Marilyn Robinson came along a little bit later, and Dillard has produced more books on a more regular basis than Robinson has, but they've actually been working parallel courses and finally have worked themselves into really difficult questions about grace and compassion that I'm completely gobsmacked by. Emily Dickinson, Sophocles, Dostoevsky. Dostoevsky is a very important part of my journey. Flannery O'Connor, another 18 to 20 year fierce instructor. Musically, I like everything. When I'm in a state of deep grief, I find myself reaching for Mozart's Requiem. I love Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. And anything singer-songwriter, guitar. I think Joni Mitchell is an amazing artist. She's as important in my thought structures as anybody. Eudora Welty. There's a singer, Linda Eder, whose voice is just the epitome of beauty to me. I believe that all of this is about transformation, and all of it's about finding out, bringing to the surface and manifesting the potential of an individual or of a group. And in my 23 years of teaching, figuring out how to help a group cohere and manifest by everyone doing what they can do, what they are bent on doing, what they are terrified to do and then do. All of that makes a learning community happen, and it's only been in the last 5 years maybe that the actual class as community piece has come into the study of teaching, the craft of teaching that I work on. It's been remarkable. I now have a class that I'm working with one colleague. We have 2 classes back to back. She does hers, I do mine. Same students, same room. And the class gelled so quickly. We were so deep in our material way sooner than we usually are in a semester. And I've got a sheaf of papers here about the community identity that they're forging. They took it upon themselves to do a service project, the working to gather supplies for refugees. I just said to my teaching partner, we were trying to organize them, and I said, why don't you and I just go for a walk? We'll be back in 10 minutes and let them take care of this. And we came back 10 minutes later, and they were on it. They had gotten themselves organized. They were in complementary sets of teams, doing complementary work, talking across each other as groups, working with the individuals within the groups. It was just sort of like, get out of our way and let us do this. And the more confidence they have with that, and the more that community gels, and we're only at the halfway point. And I've never had a class that was that coherent. I've never seen this before. I can't wait to see what the next 7 weeks brings, and that's the direction my teaching's going in. That's where I'm trying to incorporate those elements I'm learning into my other classes. It's been amazing, and so I have a lot to learn. I'm drawing a blank there because I want to say Albert Einstein. I want to say somebody who's in physics. I want to say Heisenberg for giving us the uncertainty principle. I don't know physics, but I know the idea of uncertainty. And I think that I'm going to say those guys.
What's the upshot of that?
I might say Carl Jung, but I'm working my way through his stuff again. And he could be.
What consequences do you feel like that has on the way you see the world? That set of thinkers.
I think about the dual properties of light, particle and wave. I think about the way a class is like a wave because it's a collective thing. I think about every individual in the class because they're particles. I think about the way that we are, in fact, in some ways, these little biochemical processes, these little individual units of, fantastic processors. And the fact that we can get together in a room and discuss meaningful ideas and meaningful actions and try to integrate those more deeply into our lives. It's all in some ways light-based. It's all based in those metaphors of conflicting properties of the same thing. And exploring that and being, I say Heisenberg because the uncertainty principle is such a, it's such a radical notion that on the subatomic level we can't know where and how fast at the same time, when in fact that's all we rely on for most of our information. And so the stuff we're made of is uncertain to us. The stuff we're made of is unknown. The stuff we're made of is a paradox that challenges us to reconcile it on the most basic, on a level so basic we can't even conceive of it. And so being comfortable in other spheres of uncertainty, saying, okay, I know where I am. I may not know where I'm going, but I'm really, all of me is here, can be an okay way to live and teach and learn, and keeps you open, keeps you fresh, keeps you from becoming jaded, keeps you from, oh, I've seen this before. Keeps you from dismissing, minimizing. It helps you to be open to what's coming and to be aware that you are moving with it, whether you know it or not. It's moving you, you're moving it. So the people in the world who are studying these forces that pull us, the forces that make nature be what it is, I think they're our geniuses.